it's Ace here. I want to show you my new signature pedal. It is awesome. It's from VDL Analogics in Italy. We've been developing it for about a year now, and it's based on a lot of pedals that I really like and own, from vintage and modern sounds to the same spec as the same kind of sound I get in Skunk Anansi. As you can see, it's right here. Here it is. It's the HotBird. It's custom. It's all analog, handmade boutique circuitry here. We're playing through a Cornford at the moment, a Roadhouse amp with some vintage kind of 30s speakers in there. This is very similar. You get to like a Marshall, you know, an 800 or 900 turned down a bit sound. And the basic sound of the guitar sounds like this. So very simple setup at the moment, slightly driven on the channel. So we look here, we have two sides. The first side we're going to look at is this one on the left, okay? So these knobs here, okay? This is called the ear bender, and it's based on a very simple, kind of old-fashioned, gnarly 60s, 70s fuzz, analog fuzz pedals that we know and love, you know, things that people used to like the Big Muff and things like that. So this is a very vintage side of the pedal. The knobs we have on it, we have volume, we have top end here, and we've got fuzz. So it's quite simple to use. And this extra knob here is cream. Cream is actually a compressor. So the more you compress it, the quieter it becomes, the more volume you need, but the more the fuzz kind of soaks up and gets incredibly horrible and gnarly, should I say. Okay, so for lovers of the White Stripes and the Black Keys and the Rival Sons and all that kind of stuff, this is the retro attack. So let's hear the retro sound, okay? Here's nothing. Okay, so there we go. That's the ear bender. That's the analog fuzz side. This side, very interesting now. This is the afterburner. Okay, the afterburner has a lot of stuff going on under the hood here. This analog circuitry, volume, very simple to use. Made for guitarists by guitarists. Tone, gain here, so this is our drive section. Okay, and then we have a couple of extra things here. Okay, here is a mid boost. The mid boost is based on the original kind of old super tube screamer circuit of the mid kind of boost edge that they have. Okay, this is actually mid edge here. So this will bring some more kind of bite clarity, push it into the mix a little more. We'll see that in a second. This one here is a modern and a vintage setting. The modern is going to be a more kind of open, brighter kind of attack, and the vintage will be a more spongy, kind of thicker analog sound. Okay, so we'll go through those. This is a very cool switch here. This one is the bass lifting section. Okay, so what we do here is a lot of time when you step on drivers and distortion pedals, you lose the bottom end of your guitar a bit because of the way it's processing it. Well, this thing, we can drop it back in again. Okay, and then the most exciting, maybe, this is the clipper. The clipper on this stage goes to 3 different settings, so it's based on the old analog kind of British amplifier clipping sections. Okay, so this one I suppose is going to sound a bit more kind of British and so I suppose a bit duller, a bit spongier, fatter. This one becomes a bit more open with the blue. I'll explain these properly in a minute. And this one becomes a lot more aggressive and louder. Okay, with the orange. I have technical specs, but it's best to hear it. Okay, so if we were to start off, let's start off on this one. We've got the bass switch in. Okay, well, let's take it out. Okay, let's take the middle switch out. We've got it on a modern setting, and let's turn it on. So this is the guitar without anything. put a bit of the bottom end back in it. This is the bottom end switch. And as you can see, we have got bags of gain to go on here as well. On the tiny section here, let's turn it up. Okay, so there we go. So I've got a whole ton of gain on there. Let's take it back down. Okay, now let's try the next clipping stage on here, okay? The blue section. A bit more power in this one, a bit more response, sounds a bit less retro, sounds kind of like what's a bit more happening now, okay? Let's try it with a bit of mid-edge in it to see if it cuts through. Okay, so we know the mid-edge brings it through, it cuts through the mix, especially when you're live, okay? Okay, let's clip it into the third section here. This is the most aggressive one, this is the loudest one. I suppose this is reminiscent of something that you would think about more American, I suppose, American boutique in the rectifier stakes. And let's see, this is the guitar without it. And this is going to be with the modern setting, the bass lift and the mid-edge in, okay, and the third setting. And as you see, we got bags of gain in there, so the gain we can kind of push up, you know, and we can switch these things. Let's go into a vintage setting. Let's take out the middle edge. Let's put the gain up and see what happens. Which gives it a really fat sound. I mean, in the room it sounds absolutely awesome. I think the proof of the pudding in this thing is to actually play it. I mean, the response in it is great. It's analog, it's got that sound. There's no digital sounds in here, okay? Now let's try one last thing. Let's try going into the modern setting, okay? Let's put the edge back in it to it, okay? We'll take a bit of gain down here. Let's try both of them together, okay? It's pretty extreme, isn't it? And in a nutshell, on a slightly driven amp, that's what it does. We'll explore it on a clean amp after this.